Hello and welcome to a little trip down memory lane for creepypasta fans. Everybody knows the Blue Hedgehog, of course. He doesn't need an introduction, and most of you probably have heard of this story at some point too. But to those who haven't, you're in for a fun time. I, of course, am talking about Sonic.exe. A little bit about it though. It says it's from 2011. I'm not quite sure, but it was submitted to the Creepypasta Wiki by user JC the Hyena. He's canceled now. Kind of funny. Which describes a haunted video game disc featuring a murderous version of Sonic. The story gained significant popularity, leading to a fan-made game and inspiring a subgenre of haunted video games, stories, and games within the creepypasta community. The truth is, it's a badly written horror story that got popularity when the fan-made game in 2012 was made by My5TC. Oh, sorry, My5T Crimson. And many gaming YouTubers like PewDiePie and Markiplier played it. You know, it's kind of a product of its era. So we are gonna read the story and play the game to visit a different time period of the internet. It might be nostalgic to some of you. I think it's pretty nostalgic to me. I hope you enjoy. Teehee. So, Sonic.exe. Warning, this is scary. I'm a total Sonic the Hedgehog fan, much like everyone else. I like the newer games, but I don't mind playing the classics. I don't think I've ever played glitchy or hacked games before, though I don't think I want to play any after the experience I had. It started on a nice summer afternoon. I was playing Sonic Unleashed. I liked how you get to explore the town in it. Until I noticed, out of my peripheral vision, that the mailman had arrived and put something in my mailbox, as usual, and left. I paused my game to go see what I got in the mail. The only thing in the mailbox was a CD case for computers and a note. I took it inside. I looked at the note first and realized it was from my dear friend Kyle, let's just call him that, whom I hadn't heard from in 2 weeks. I know that because I recognized his handwriting. Though, what was weird is how it looked. It looked badly written and scratchy and somewhat difficult to read, as if Kyle was having a hard time writing it down and did it in a hurry. This is what he wrote. Tom, I can't take it anymore. I had to get rid of this thing somehow, before it was too late. And I was hoping you'd do it for me. I can't do it. He's after me. If you don't destroy the CD, he'll come after you too. He's too fast for me. It's hilarious that because it's Sonic. Please, Tom, destroy this godforsaken disc before he comes after you too. It's too late for me. Destroy the disc, and you'll destroy him. But do it quick, otherwise he'll catch you. Don't even play the game. It's what he wants. Just destroy it. Please. Kyle. Well, that was certainly weird. Even though Kyle is my best friend and I haven't seen him in 2 weeks, I didn't do what he asked me. I didn't think that a simple gaming disc would do anything bad to him. After all, it's just a game, right? Boy, was I wrong about that. Anyway, I looked at the disc and it looks like any ordinary computer CDR disc, except it had a black marker on it written Sonic.exe, and it was much unlike Kyle's handwriting, meaning that he must have gotten it from someone else, like a pawn shop or eBay. When I saw Sonic on the writing of the CD, I was actually excited and I wanted to play it. Since I'm a big Sonic fan, I went up to my room and turned on my computer and put the disc in and installed the game. When the title screen popped up, I noticed that it was the first Sonic game. I was like, awesome, because like I said earlier, I like the classics. The first thing I noticed was out of my the first thing I noticed was out of place. That was when I pressed start. There was a split second when I saw the title image turn into something much different, something that I now consider horrifying. Before cutting to black, I remember I remember what the image looked like in the split second before the game cut to black. The sky had darkened. The title emblem was rusted and ruined. The Sega 1991 was now instead Sega 666, and the water had turned red like blood, except it looked hyper realistic. This is gonna be a reoccurring thing, the use of hyper realistic blood. It's um yeah. A lot of these early creepypastas love to do this hyper realistic, lots of blood, crazy stuff. But the freakiest thing was that in that split second frame was Sonic. His eyes were pitch black and bleeding with two glowing red dots staring right at me, and his smile had stretched wider up to the edge of his face. I was rather disturbed about that image when I saw it, though I figured that it was just a glitch and forgot about it. After it cut to black, it stayed like that for about 10 seconds or so, and then another weird thing happened. The save file selected from Sonic the Hedgehog 3 popped up, and I was like, what the fuck? What's this doing in the first Sonic game? Anyway, then I noticed something's off. The background was the dark cloudy sky of the bad Stardust Speedway level of Sonic CD, and there were only 3 save files. The music was the creepy caverns of winter music from Earthbound, only it was extended and seemed to have been in reverse, and the image for the save file where you see a preview of the level you're on is just a red static for all 3 files. What freaked me out more was the character select. It showed only Tails, Knuckles, and to my surprise, Dr. Robotnik. Now I was sure that something was up. I mean, how can you play as Robotnik in a classic Sonic game, for crying out loud? That's when I realized that this wasn't a glitchy game, it was a hacked game. Yeah, it definitely looked hacked. It was really creepy, but as a smart gamer, I wasn't scared, or at least I tried not to be. I told myself that I was just a hack. It was just a hack game, and there's nothing wrong with that. Anyways, shaking off the creeped out feeling, I picked file number 1 and choose Tails. And when I selected and got started, the game froze for about 5. Ball, no. Sorry, my bad. Where were we? All right, Tails. Anyways, shaking off the creeped out feeling, I picked file number 1 and chose Tails. When I started and got when I selected and got started, the game froze for about 5 seconds, and I heard a creepy pixelated laugh that sounded an awful lot like Kefka guy from Final Fantasy before cutting to black. The screen stayed black for about 10 seconds or more. Then it showed the typical level title thing, except the simplistic shapes were different shades of red, and the text showed only Hill Act 1. The screen faded in and the level title vanished, revealing Tails in the Green Hill Zone from Sonic 1. The music was different though. It sounded like a peaceful melody in reverse. Anyway, I started playing and Tails start running like you would in any other Sonic game. What was odd was that Tails was running along the level. There was nothing but black ground and a few trees for 5 minutes. That was when the peaceful music started to lower down into slow, deep tones. Very slowly, as I kept going. I suddenly saw something, and I stopped to see what it was. It was one of the small animals lying dead on the ground, bleeding. That was when the music started to slow down. Tails had a shocked and saddened look on his face that I never saw him before. So I had him move along, and he kept that worried look on his face. As he kept moving, I saw more dead animals as Tails moved past them, looking more and more worried as the music lowers, and he moves past more dead animals. I was shocked to see how they all died. They looked like somebody killed them in a rather gruesome way. A squirrel was hanged on a tree with what happened to be his entrails hanging out. A bunny had all 4 of his limbs.
OMG, almost
Hi, Thrash. Hi. I forgot to turn those off. Thanks for the resub, though. Happy Friday. Almost a year. They're doing creepypasta time. I saw you had technical difficulties on stream, huh? Fix it. Fix it. Thrash, fix it. It's been too long. Okay, where was I? All right, squirrel with entrails. A bunny. A squirrel was hanged on a tree with what appeared to be his entrails hanging out. A bunny had all 4 of his limbs torn off, and a duck had his eyes gouged out and his throat slit. I felt sick to my stomach when I saw this massacre, and apparently so did Tails. After a few more seconds, there were no more animals, and the music seemed to have stopped. I still kept Tails to continue. After a minute passed after the music stopped, Tails was running up a hill, and then he stopped. It wasn't until I saw why. Sonic was there, on the other side of the screen, with his back against Tails, with his eyes closed. Tails looked happy to see Sonic, but then his smile faltered, obviously noticing that Sonic wasn't responding to him. If not acting as if he was totally oblivious of Tails' presence. Tails walked slowly towards Sonic, and I noticed that I wasn't even moving my keyboard to make him move. So this had to have been a cutscene. Suddenly, I began to have growing feel of dread as Tails walked closer to Sonic to get his attention. I felt that Tails was in danger and something bad was going to happen. I heard faint static growing louder as Tails was but inches away from Sonic and stopped and stuck his hand out to touch him. That foreboding feeling in my gut was growing stronger, and I felt the urge to tell Tails to get away from Sonic as the static grew louder. Suddenly, in a split second, I saw Sonic's eyes open, and they were black with those red glowing dots, just like the title image. Though there thought there wasn't well, though there wasn't a smile. When that happened, the screen turned black and the static sound was off. It stayed black for about 7 seconds, and then white text appeared, forming a message saying, "Hello, do you want to play with me?" At this point, I was creeped out. I didn't want to continue with the game, but my curiosity got the better of me when I was taken to a different level with the level title now saying, "Hide and Seek." This time, I was in the Angel Island level from Sonic 3, and it looked like everything was on fire. Tails looked as though he was scared of oh, out of Tails looked as though he was scared out of his wits this time. He actually looked at me and made frantic gestures to me as if he wanted to get out of the area he was in as fast as possible. I was starting to get freaked out by this. I mean, Tails was actually breaking the fourth wall, trying to tell me to get him out of there. So I pressed down on the arrow key. As hard as I could and made him run as fast as he could. A pixelated version of that creepy theme when you meet Shadow at the Ark as Robotnik from SA2 was playing as I made Tails trek through the desolate forest, trying to help him escape from whatever he was trying to run from. Suddenly, I heard that creepy laugh again, that awful Kefka laugh. Right after 10 seconds have passed as I helped Tails run through the forest, and then I started seeing flashes of Sonic popping everywhere on the screen, again with those black and red eyes. The music changed to that suspenseful drowning jingle as I see Sonic behind Tails slowly gaining on him, flying. Sonic wasn't running, he was actually flying. The flying pose his sprite was making looked very similar to Metal Sonic's flying pose in Sonic CD, except it was just Sonic, and he had the black and red eyes again. Only this time, he had the most deranged grin on his face. He looked as though he was enjoying this torment he was giving the poor little fox as he gained up on him. Suddenly, when Tails was tripped, another cutscene. The music stopped and Sonic vanished. Tails laid there and started crying for 15 seconds. The scene was rather upsetting to watch and I kind of teared up myself. But then Sonic appeared right in front of Tails and Tails looked up in horror. Blood started to come down those blackened eyes of Sonic's and of Sonic's as a grin slowly grew from his face and he looked down at the horrified fox. I could do nothing but watch. Just in a split second, Sonic lunged at Tails right before the screen went black. There was a loud screeching noise that only lasted 5 seconds. The text returned, only this time it said, "You're too slow. Want to try again?" And then that god-awful laugh came with it. I was so shocked by what happened. Did Sonic murder Tails? No, he couldn't have. He and Tails are supposed to be best friends, right? Why did Sonic do that to him? I shook the shock off as I brought back. I shook the I shook the shock off as I was brought back to the character select. The save file that had Tails was different. Tails was no longer in the box itself, but in the TV screen itself, which was flickering with that red static. Tails' expression scared me. His eyes were black and bleeding. His orange fur had gone black, and he had an expression of anguish on his face. Trying to ignore it, I picked Knuckles next. Okay, I need water. Kind of funny, really. It's like, oh no, no, Sonic, no. Why did you kill Tails? Guess I'll play as Knuckles next. Nothing bad will happen. No. The morbid curiosity, I guess. The laugh came back again, and the screen cut to black again and stayed there for another 10 seconds. This time, the level said, "You can't run." I was really freaked out by now. I couldn't really tell if this was a glitch, or a hack, or some kind of sick, twisted joke, or anything really. But despite my fear of what happened next, I kept playing. The next level looked much different. It had the ground of the scrap brain zone, but the sky background looked like the main menu. It had the dark reddish cloudy sky, but it was the music that creeped me out the most. It sounded like Gaiga's theme right after you beat Pokey in Earthbound. I also noticed that Knuckles looked afraid just like Tails did, though not as much. More rather, he looked a little unnerved. He broke the fourth wall just like Tails and looked as if he wasn't sure about going on, but I made him move anyway. He ran down the straight pathway in the dark level, and as he did, the screen started to flicker red static a couple of times, and then a maddening laugh came again. Then, after a few seconds of running, I noticed several bloodstains on the metallic ground. I felt a growing sense of fear again, thinking something horrible is going to happen to Knuckles. He looked nauseated walking down this blood-stained road, but I still kept him going. Suddenly, as Knuckles ran, Sonic appeared right in front of him with those black and red eyes, and then red static appeared again. When the static vanished, showing nothing but black screen with the text saying, "Found you." I was now scared. Sonic found Knuckles already? What was going on? Anyway, if red static came again, and then it was a black. Anyway, red static came again, and then I was back to the level. Knuckles looked like he was panicking, and Sonic was nowhere to be found. And this time, that high-pitched squealing from the Silent Hill 1's final boss was playing. Was this some kind of boss battle with Sonic? I hope to God it wasn't, honestly. Suddenly, Sonic appeared right behind Knuckles in what appeared to be pixelated black smoke. I made Knuckles turn and then punch Sonic, but Sonic vanished in black pixelated smoke before I could even land a hit. That terrible laugh went off again. Then Sonic appeared behind Knuckles again, and then I made him punch again, and Sonic vanished again, laughing. Knuckles was Knuckles was panicking even more, and then even I felt like I was going crazy. Sonic was practically playing with us. He was playing a sick, twisted little mind game with me and Knuckles. Another cutscene played as Knuckles fell to his knees and clutched his head sobbing. I felt his agony. Sonic was actually driving us both crazy. And then, in a split second, Sonic lunged at Knuckles, and then the screen went black with another distorted screeching noise that lasted for at least 3 seconds. Another text message appeared. So many souls to play with, so little time. Would you agree? What the hell? Just what is going on? I started to think Sonic was actually trying to talk to me through the game, but I was too scared to think that. Like you didn't think. Literally thought that just a second ago. I was brought back to the main menu, and this time the second file box had Knuckles in the TV screen. His red fur had darkened to reddish gray. His dreadlocks were dripping with blood, and his eyes were black and bleeding too. And he had a look of sadness on his face. I began to think that those are the actual characters trapped in those TV screens on save files, but I couldn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it. So I shut off the game and took a break. I took a nap, which I hadn't, because I then began to have the most disturbing nightmare. I was in a pitch black darkness, though I was under the light given off by a lamp that hung high above my head. I could hear the cries of Knuckles and Tails nearby. They were saying stuff like, "Help us!" and "Why did you give us to him?" and "Run away before he gets you too." Their cries died out as I then heard Sonic's laugh. His laugh, it sounded a lot like the distorted Kefka laugh. "You're a lot of fun to play with, kid. Just like your friend Kyle, though he didn't last long." I was scared and looking around for the source of the voice. Won't be long now until you join him and all of my other friends." I saw him walking towards me, flickering in and out in several directions. "You can't run, kid. You're in my world now, just like the others." And he grabbed me, and I saw his bleeding black and red-eyed, grinning face. I woke up with fright. After a couple of hours, I decided to continue playing the game. I don't know why, but I had to know. I had to figure out why this was happening. So I turned on the computer, turned on the game, and selected Robotnik next. I still thought that was wacky, playing as Robotnik, but anyway, the level title appeared again, and this time it said ... which I found really freaky. This time I was in some kind of hallway. Didn't really look like it was from any of the classic Sonic games, though it has the pixelated style. The floor was shiny and checkered. The walls were a dark grayish purple with animated candle lights and a few dark bloodstains here and there, and there was a dark red curtain hanging above the top of the screen. Every 12 seconds or so, that red curtain sways very slowly, but whenever you're playing the game, you can barely see it move. The music was oddly pleasant, a piano playing a rather sad yet peaceful song, but I knew better. This was the song that played in Silent Hill Act 1. Wait, no. But I knew better. This was the song that played in Hill Act 1. Only if it was in reverse. It wasn't in reverse. Robotnik didn't look entirely nervous like Tails and Knuckles did, but he did have a suspicious look on his face, as if he was just a bit paranoid. He did a little animation when I just left him standing. He turns his head to the left and then to the right, at least twice, and then shrugs at me, as if he has no idea where he was or what was going on. Even though I was scared out of my mind about what was going to happen, I had Robotnik continue onward. He did his usual running animation. You know, when you've beaten him at the end of classic Sonic and you chase him as we continue going through the hallway. Then I stop at a long flight of stairs leading downward. Now I was nervous. Even Robotnik seemed unsure of himself. Though I pressed onward. As I led Robotnik down the stairs, I've tried to go back with Robotnik, but he just always fell on the stairs. I noticed that the walls have gotten darker and more reddish. The red torches are now an eerie blue. Then we landed onto another hallway. This one was longer than the last one, or at least it felt like it. And then we headed down another flight of stairs down. This one was much longer. Took at least 1 full minute. And then I heard that horrid Kafka laugh again. And then the music slowly faded until it was quiet. As it did, the walls turned more dark red, and the torches were a black flame now. When Robotnik landed onto the third hallway, I noticed he now looked really creeped out. Though he tried to hide it, I couldn't blame him. I was scared too. Suddenly, Sonic popped right in front of Robotnik, the same way he did Knuckles, and the red static. The red static lasted for about 15 seconds, and then it showed me a most unpleasant image. The image showed a hyper realistic of Sonic standing in the darkness where you can only see his face while his head and torso faded into black. And when I say hyper realistic, I mean like he looked so real you could actually see the lines in his blue fur, as if you could actually feel the fur if you touched the screen. His face, oh god, he had the most horrifying smile I had ever seen. And that's saying something considering I saw that image at the start of the game. His eyes are wide and black, and once again crying blood, which also looked hyper realistic. And there were two small glowing red dots in those black eyes staring right at me, as if staring into my mind. His grin was wide and demonic. It literally stretched to the sides of his face like a Cheshire cat, except Sonic had fangs. Very sharp fangs, much like the werehog's teeth, except more vicious looking, somewhat yellowish, and from the look of it, he had stains of blood and small bits of flesh in his lips, on his lips, and fangs as if he ate some animal. I stared at the gruesome image for about a good 30 seconds, never taking my eyes off of it. I felt as if he was actually looking at me, smiling at me. That face. It just took 10 seconds for it to etch itself into my brain for good. Then the screen flickered with red static again 3 times. And on the third time, I heard the Kefka laugh. Except this time, it sounded distorted, demonic even. It went back to the image again, except this time there was the text again, though it was messed up, but it was pretty much one of the most horrifying things I looked at since I had this game. I am God. It was when I read that message while looking at Sonic, when it hit me. I realized right then and there that then it I realized right there and then it stopped and showed nothing but a black screen. As I sat there staring at the black screen, one last text came up. Ready for round 2, Tom? The Kafka laugh, now sounding more clear as if Sonic was right behind me, played again 3 times as I looked at that text in shock and confusion. Then I got booted back to the main menu, and this time the third save file had a TV image of Robotnik in the same tormented state as Tails and Knuckles. Robotnik's skin turned a dull gray. His mustache dropped and had blackened. His glasses broke, and blood is coming from them. And then he had a mere dead expression on his face. I looked at Tails, Knuckles, and Robotnik, and I cried a bit. I pitied them for the agony they're going through. They were forever trapped within the game, forever tormented by that horrid hedgehog, and always will be. The red static popped one. The red static popped. Oh, fuck. The red static popped once again, and quickly an image of Sonic and Tails in a moving hellfire, and the sky being red. Sonic and the sun. Sonic and the sun in his center and enlightening. Enlighting. Sonic and Sonic and the sun in his center enlightening him, as he also had two white angel wings, and he was carrying Tails carrying Tails away by his red shoes, and Tails screaming for help on his fuck carrying Tails away by his red shoes, and Tails screaming for help face on this image was evident. Yes, like this is what I mean when the writing's bad. And below right were the big letters of game over. Also, a reverse creepy relaxing piano melody was playing while the image was still being shown. This Sonic was a monster, a pure evil, sadistic, all-powerful, nightmarish, demented monster. And all of his victims, including Tails, Knuckles, Robotnik, and possibly Kyle, are just his little toys, and the game is the very gateway into his chaotic, nightmarish world, and the very hell his victims are trapped in. Quick red static pops up once again, and a message in Japanese white small letters showed up, which translated to, "There is a way to release ourselves, a spell to obtain our souls once more. But when we speak it, no sound. We are all deaf. So failure is inevitable, and I regret ever entering my internal bet with the devil inside of me. Immortality versus soul snatching. Gary Crook versus Jake Shanley. Ambition is overrated." The background of the text was red and black art, and while this image with text was still being shown, a chanting of Muslims can be heard. What the? What the hell's happening? Now it quicks to Sonic, which you can play while a bit of static is still shown, so you can move and play as Sonic in some static world, and then I move forward and see a multitude of so in some static world, and then I move forward and see a multitude. Fuck, it's not that. In some static world, and then I move forward and see a mutilated body in a stick with white big text letters stating, "You had a chance to comply. Now you've come too far." Then, as I walk away from that, there is a mechanical metal grabber claw grabbing a small but mutilated body with a red drop dripping off, and as I keep walking, I see another one, while a skeleton face pop up, but Sonic gameplay is still being seen, and then the skeleton face disappearing. What the hell is going on? Okay, no, this is too much. Also, in this unknown level, music is somewhat soothing, as creepy also, like metal being scratched, combined with whistling and more. How would I explain it? In the second claw, I see looking the same as the earlier one. A text next to it. A text next to it, in the same big white letters, is shown stating, "Can you hear me? There." And then this static pops up, while a black and white only face made a creepy. What the fuck is this? While a black and white only face made creepy of Link quickly pops up close to him and then disappears in the face the skeleton face did. This is so fucked up. There's Link now in this too. I don't remember that at all. Then I keep walking, and the text I see continues stating, "Can you hear them? They're trying to tell you something." Then a female scream is heard with the face of a woman in black and white quickly appearing and leaving. Her eyes were pretty and cute. Cute? What the? Though, despite being all her face in black and white, then I continue walking, and skeleton face does the same again, and the same scream I heard once again, and I see another mutilated body on a stick. Looks like a sword made of flesh and hearts. A sword made of flesh and hearts. Holy moly. That's hardcore. Then I walk and see another one of those sticks and another grabber with a text next to it stating, "Oh, playing with them was such fun. Almost as fun as you, Tom." And I walk reading the text. I see lots of grabbers around the text, and then I kept walking and see another grabber with the text. There was Gary and Jake and Kyle and Alice and so many, many more. I kept walking with now that overwhelming sense of dread feeling once again after reading that text, and then I remained walking to see another stick with the text, "It's time your soul joined theirs, Tom." Then a pitch black swirling optical illusion replaces half of the static I was walking through. This is written so badly now. It fell off. The start was okay with grammar, but holy shit, this is just run-on sentences. Swirling optical illusions replaces half of the static I was walking there through, and with a reverbed telephonic sound reverberated fuck, that's a hard word. Reverberated. Oh no, it's reverbed. I was walking through, and with a reverbed telephonic sound, and 3 grabbers are shown after the text, and then I keep walking in that optical illusion with the path below it as the static, and then I see words in my path that I was walking stating "obey" multiple times, and then again I see that word as I kept, and then again stated 2 times, those words being together, while a woman starts screaming again, and then the status data for everything, my rings, my time, everything slowly fades. And then as I kept walking, I see 2 final grabbers, one small holding a small body with blood dripping from it, and one big holding a big body with blood dripping from it. Then my gameplay of me who was walking, and my path fades. This is so bad. I don't remember this at all. Then suddenly, in an actual split second, I screamed as Sonic lunged at the screen, screeching loudly with his mouth wide open to an unnatural length. In that Sonic face, his teeth were demonic and red blood was dripping from his mouth. In that length, it revealed nothing but a literally spiraling abyss of pure darkness before the red static came again. This time much louder and distorted, so loud that it hurt my ears. I yelled and grabbed my ears as the red static screeched for a good 7 seconds. Then a Satan-like image of Sonic with red eyes and mouth red and red horns popped up, while the background of the image was the moving static. And then the woman screamed again. Then cuts to a Japanese text stating a final message, which translates to be honest, 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 to be honest. It repeats. And then another one pops stating in English, I was killed, massacred, and angry. I killed until all my strength was gone, and yet They die with only amusement for the devil who rose to torture me. The background for the for both texts were red and black this time, with also moving static. Then the computer shuts itself off. I couldn't turn it back on, no matter what I did. I sat there for maybe 25 seconds, horrified by what just happened. Sonic is the very embodiment of evil. He tortures people who play his game in more ways than one, and then when he gets bored, he drags you into the game. Literally drags you to hell, where he can play with you always as his toy. I can't get the game out of my computer. I think it's stuck in there. But at least I managed to turn it back on now. After I sat there for 25 seconds, I heard a voice right behind me, like a whisper. Try to keep this interesting for me, Tom. I turned around to see where the voice came from, and what I saw made me scream. Sitting on my bed, staring right at me, was a Sonic plushie, smiling with blood stains under his eyes. I then regret and realized Kyle had discovered this seemingly corrupted game and had been subjugated to its horrors. Kyle had obtained the haunted Sonic.exe CD through the Cult of X. This cult, dedicated to spreading the entity's influence, is responsible for distributing copies of the game. Kyle found the game's disc and experienced its terrifying effects. Where the fuck does this cult shit come from? What? How did he know? What? That came out of nowhere. Yeah, there's no explanation. He just he realized he was like, oh yeah, remember? Yeah, my friend really liked that Sonic cult. Makes sense. The evil Sonic in the game is not actually the real Sonic the Hedgehog. It is the entity X, which has taken on Sonic's appearance to lure victims, and which is served as God by the Cult of X. The entity is a distinct being from Sonic himself. Although it idolizes him, the game's disc serves as a gateway to the dimension of the game disc serves as a gateway to the dimension of an eldritch interdimensional entity known as Sonic.exe or X. This entity is born of dark matter and driven by a desire to enslave humanity and merge its worlds with Earth. The entity is, in fact, a separate being made of dark matter. Its powers and desires align with those associated with demonic entities, such as stealing souls and causing destruction. The entity is also the leader of the Cult of X, dedicated to worshipping it as a god. The entity X is able to manipulate and control the game, using it as a tool to interact with the human world and trap victims. The disc itself acts as a gateway, and the entity's servers, Satan, sometimes, but has a slightly more evil mindset than him, which is enslaving the world and more. So I think they just didn't know how to finish the story. Realistically, they just like threw in, oh, make it a cult. Boom. I like the start. I like the start of it. It was fun. And then it just like went on to be like hyper descriptive. You don't need that many details if you set the tone, right? Like or maybe like referencing like games and like being the actual music. That's not, no. Why would the Sonic game have that? Referencing like Kefka Laugh. I guess they're just comparing, but I imagine it like to actually be that laugh. I don't know what it is. I don't know who Kefka is, but I think I can get the idea. It was definitely written by a teen at the time. This was the shit. Basically, I like it. I still like it. Should you read it? No, it's more just like a funny haha. Remember story. It should be left in the past, I think. But it was fun revisiting it. So, how about now we actually play Sonic.exe? I think that'd be a good idea. I'm definitely not gonna get, uh, possessed by a demon, an eldritch horror. No, please don't. We'll see. We will see. So let me pull it up real quick. Let's go to the other scene and play the game. This might be loud. I'm sorry. No. Oh, give me a second. Oh, give me a second. It didn't capture. Hold on. You need to see the start. God damn it. Hold on. How do I do this? How do I? I want you guys to see like it's so quick that it can't capture it in time. Does that remove my pin? I think we gotta go with fucking display capture. That's gonna suck. Hold on. Let me figure this out. No, this is the only story for the day. Then we're gonna do normal gaming. Okay, we go in display capture mode. We got the EXE chat. Let's see how truly horrifying this is. No! Oh. Yes! Oh my god, it's Tails! That's Knuckles. On the side. Oh, we got Robotnik. Oh. Hill Act 1. Tails. It's pretty flat, no enemies. What are those? Oh no, the poor edibles. What happened? Oh no. Oh. Oh my god, it's Sonic.
Hello. Do you want to play with me?
Hide and seek. Oh, this is hell. This is definitely hell. Oh no, is that Sonic? Run, Tails, run. Oh,
Your heart.
no. Tails.
You're too slow. Want to try again?
Uh, what happened to Tails? Oh, Knuckles, though. I'm sure Knuckles will be fine. You can't run. What? I can run. Oh, that's a lot of ketchup. Oh,
Found you.
oh, is that Sonic? No, Knuckles, get away. Oh, I can't hit him.
You will die at my hands.
No.
So many souls to play with. So little time. Would you agree?
Oh, it's Robotnik's time. Oh no, what happened to Knuckles? I sure hope it doesn't. I sure hope it doesn't happen to Robotnik. Naruto running. Yeah. Oh, is that Sonic? Oh. Ew. Ew, what are you? You're not Sonic. Um, stop staring. Ready for
round two.
oh, that's funny. It uses my name, my like username. Game over. Oh, that's the Japanese bit. Yeah, it keeps going. I guess it's so they could you could have time to translate it. My fat head is in front. Sorry. It keeps going. I can't do anything. They just reverse it. Please stop. Please stop. Please stop. Maybe this is the mind washing. My How long was it in the story? It wasn't like fucking 15 minutes, was it? Mute the stream before it's over for your brain. I think that the author might have overdid it a little bit. I think I'm going insane. I pressed the buttons. Did he turn off the game? Wasn't that the thing? No, it can't be. Is that it? Let's try closing it. I like how the actual application is called I Am God. This is funny. Let's try that again. No, I guess that's it. I guess they can't do all the stuff that in the story they did, you know. It's kind of fun, creepy. Is it worth revisiting? Yeah. That was a fun, like, hour and a half? Not even an hour and a half. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is gonna go on YouTube, so smile, like if you like it, thumbs up.